You ready?
Set.
All right, let's go ahead and call our meeting to
This is
order.
yours.
Madam Clerk, can I get her?
Okay, trustee Daniels.
Here.
Trustee Kepke.
Here.
Trustee Saint Germain.
Here.
Trustee Craig.
Here.
Trustee Ertz.
Here. All right, let's stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pull that chair. Yeah. Gotta get a work order in the roll.
All right. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda? With the changes that we talked about.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented with an exception of moving the public comment
No.
below, or excuse me, moving the Peck Elementary School walk around just above the public comment so that we can have public comment afterwards.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Pretty good. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. All right, so with that, we're ready for our walkabout.
Let's do it.
Are we taking
Yeah, but
these things with
So,
us?
yep.
Right here.
so what we have a safety report that we're glad to share out with you guys. And we also have some cost estimates of some replacement items on the facility. We just wanted to bring the board up to speed of what some of the items we need to look at. So go do a walk around before it gets dark, inside and out.
And just for informational purposes, we won't be making any decision on this tonight, but we would love to hear any and all comments that you guys have, so.
Out of curiosity, what is the cost of the precision here versus say Orofino elementary school?
I don't know that right off the top of my head, and we can address that when we get to that point. So, because we want to get the walk around done before it gets dark.
Okay, all right, we're back and now I'd welcome. Pardon? Sorry. Oh, okay. Tim Craig, you are up.
Okay.
You can come up here. So,
We record all these for,
Yeah.
we go back to them later.
well.
Hi, guys. I know some of you folks. Yeah, I've been in this county here, this country for, about 50 years now, something like that. My son, my grandson, they've all gone to school here, you know. I've got a lot of, my people that rent from me and stuff in town, they all come here for the school. No two ways about it. And, I'm just concerned about what direction you're thinking of going. I know there's a few things needed, but there's nothing that we couldn't as a community gather up and fix by ourselves, if you guys don't want to do it. But that's something that I'm kind of lost why it hasn't been done already. And why hasn't the lawn even been taken care of, you know? I don't know if you remember back when we did the ball field here, my company Boulder Creek would come and built the ball field, had ball games, you know, things like that. This community's only got a couple of things left, the community building and this school. And if anything, you should do what the school is built on and hire another teacher. The tax base 5 to 10 miles around here supports way more than you need to support this school. And you're going to find all the people around here want this school. Just plain and simple. I don't care what it costs. I don't care what your buses, you know, the people are coming here for this school. That's why you got what, how many students this year? You have now?
37.
37, you know, when Matt was here, they had 14. You talked about closing it down then, you know, it was 78,000 a year, some change. What does it cost today to run this school? Anybody know? How much it costs you to run the school? You don't know? Well, you sound like somebody else I watch on Fox News and TV. You don't know? You sure you don't know? Okay. All right, you should know. Yeah.
I do know what salaries and wages and those type of
Okay,
things.
but you
Yeah,
don't know what the cost of running the school is. Okay.
I have a general idea,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Well,
I don't have the exact number.
you know, I brought you a lot. I don't know, I know you weren't superintendent then, but I brought him the last, I went and run the tax base of the circle. You know, around that actually we call the pet community, right? And I'll be glad to do that again for you. If you want to see the tax base that's here, actually. School money that actually was dropped right in this area, not Orofino. So, and a lot of people, I think you're gonna find out, my opinion, and just knowing all the homeschooling going on. If you close this school down, you're gonna have less in Orofino, because people are not gonna go there.
Okay.
And I know people already are doing that, so. And my son's one of them, you know, so he went there, you know, so you gotta kind of look maybe what's going on there. To think if you're gonna capture these students there, I know you get paid per student basis and et cetera, but. That you get paid here too, maybe not as much, but we don't really care. We just want our school. So if anything, I'd like to see it built on. You got the most awesome teachers here that as far as I can remember, the best teachers in the world. Let's belong to school. If you want to get it fixed, let's gather up, let's fix it. But I want to find out why you don't have the money to fix it, why you don't have money to take care of the lawn. That I want to see first, and then we'll talk about what we want to do to fix it, okay?
Okay.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Thank you.
I guess,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, I just want to explain during public comments, that's your time to speak. And we're supposed to be quiet and let you speak. So during discussion, the board can tell their concerns or what they find. So don't get offended if they don't answer you right now. They can answer those during the discussion time, but right now we have to give you time to talk. Okay.
All right. Cindy Nichols. My boxing buddy.
Hello. Well, Tim stole one of my things about the homeschooling thing. Guess I shouldn't have talked to him before he got up here. The other thing is this town has had a school for over 100 years. The first school was built in started in 1910 and was occupied in 1911. And there has been a school here in not the same school because that one closed down and this one was built. But there's been a school here for well over 100 years. And as Tim and I both talked before the meeting. Yes, people do come here. I have new people. When COVID hit, 6 new families moved up on the bench where on my road. They all of them that have kids, they came here for the schools. That's all anybody that you talk to talks about our school as being very beneficial for the kids. They don't just get the regular, normal education. They get beyond that. So that's all I wanted to say. I just want to keep our school. I don't have kids in this school anymore. Maybe in about 2 or 3 years, I may have a grandchild in this school. But by God, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help keep this school open also.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was it. I do. So. All right, we'll move on and we'll discuss. No, what are we doing? Yeah, that's, yeah. All right, so. Yep, that's it, two. Okay, all right. So first off the bat, we need to administer the oath of office to Teresa.
Could you stand, please? Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and
Idaho,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
of the Joint School District 171 according to the best of my ability. Sorry.
the of the
Of
Joint
the-
School District 171
According to the best of your
according to the
ability.
best of my abilities.
Thank you.
Fully staffed again.
Yay,
Okay.
okay.
Abilities.
All right.
We're better than repeating.
Need a motion for approval of the minutes from our February 26th work session and regular meeting.
I didn't see that they were linked.
What?
Meet the minutes.
In the agenda?
Maybe they weren't.
They're not linked.
Okay. We'll move them until next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Missed the link.
Missing link. All right.
About that.
All right. So let's move on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I'll move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I did have an idea about tracking balances and I'll work with you on that.
Okay.
And Brittany.
So, trustee Craig second.
Yes.
Mhm. All right. No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to reports and recognition. We have a few recognitions this time from Orofino Elementary School. We'd like to recognize Bryn Knudsen for building up the PTO. She's organized a lot of events. She's raised money for supplies for their Calm Corners at the elementary school, which is a pretty cool thing. The PBIS store added to the playground equipment, help with the PTO talent show. She's just done a good job. She's a go-getter. So good job, Bryn. And also Nikki Olive for organizing the science fair. She met students' needs with community partners and good thing. So from OHS, we have Crystal Endicott, our new attendance secretary, which apparently she caught on real quick. It's a big job and she took it in stride, apparently. From Timberline, we have Sue Wyatt, parapro. She goes the extra mile all the time, above and beyond to recognize students and covers for others when needed and just team player. Elaine Cook also for 8th grade careers through the Next Step Idaho program, and also Katie Bird. She's utilizing it for the older kids. Ms. Cook is utilizing it for the 8th graders, and also Mr. Hunter, right? You're doing it as well, or you?
No, I just
Got trained to do it as well. Okay. And they have one student, Rylan West, who signed with the LC Loggers down in Liston for football. A pretty big deal. And Roy, of course, for always going the extra mile, he's getting our district office almost back in order. And that's been a huge undertaking. He doesn't look real thrilled about it, but go Roy. Yeah. And of course, Carmen Griffith and Tama Naden for the food pantry is always there kicking butt and taking names on that. They feed a lot of kids and provide a lot of resources for underprivileged families. So that's a super, super awesome thing. All right. Anybody have anybody else they'd like to recognize or? All right, so let's move on to committee reports, the safety committee,
I have no report on that. That was a standing report, but
standing report, but there's
we
nothing.
haven't met
Okay.
since then, since
All right.
last meeting.
Policy. Did we have anything from policy? Becca?
All right, this is the last three. It is still only in the first read because due to the nature of 3545, which is all about the train around student interviews. I thought the leadership team should probably take a look at it, we'll spend some time there. So this is just again a first read for you guys. There's a significant number of edits on that one. The 3345 is pretty easy. The recommendation would be just to adopt the state policy, which I've attached there for your guys' review to make sure that you're comfortable with all the state language. And then the 4410 would be a deletion if we adopted the 3545.
Okay.
So they kind of all this together, but those ones will instead be up for second read next time, so you guys have a chance to.
All righty.
You really leaving us?
So, yeah.
From the policy standpoint, do we have to accept that?
Yes, and if you have any questions about it, I prefer to do it outside of public meeting, but
Sure.
yes,
You've
I will
done
be
great.
moving on. This will be my last policy update.
We have to see.
Done a very good job.
Thanks, thanks.
We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Becca. All right, building reports. Does anybody have any comments, questions, anything else?
I did, Madam Chair. I noticed in the OES report that there was a potential for an incoming flux of 41 students in kindergarten and an exit of 52 sixth graders. And so there's 52 fifth graders now. So is there something that we need to be aware of now in thinking about resource allocation or shifts to address the influx? Which is cool because our community hasn't bred in a long time, so.
Yeah, so this last year, we enrolled only 31 kindergartners, so we had a pretty small class. We were watching that enrollment pretty closely. Kindergarten Roundup this year has us bounced back already to normal baseline. We typically enroll between 8 and 10 more students between now and Labor Day, start of the next school year. So we're looking at possibly needing to secure an additional teaching resource there at that grade level. But yeah, those numbers have come back again to baseline. So that's good news.
Cool, thank you. I didn't. Oh, Becca's report is live now.
Yep.
When did that go live?
This morning,
Oh, okay.
yesterday.
It was probably this.
Yeah.
Yesterday evening and it was this morning. I had a couple come in. Yeah, I had a
Oh.
couple come in.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't have time. The SPED, is Cody here?
Nope.
He said he was gonna be online tonight.
Okay,
So-
the one question I had about the SPED report was the comment on the timing of testing, and maybe you guys are better to answer that. We've talked a lot about learning loss over breaks. And it in the report, it suggested that we wait until after the break to do the testing. Is that so that we have a catch 'em up period? And that they're not burnt out and anxious and ready to rip and go on vacation? Is that, okay, I wondered about that.
Yeah, that's kind of big. Yeah. All right, it looks like everybody has worked toward break and is ready. I think I think kids are too, so. All right, anybody else? Anything else? Oh. Good,
Good.
okay. All right. Yes. I'm there. So program reports. That's where the sped was, so she already.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right.
I lump them all together in my mind.
So I did have one question. Do we have the Narcan now is
Mhm.
everywhere?
Yeah, so there's one in each facility.
So
Yes.
we got that in
Yep.
place and
And we just went through, Casey, our nurse, just told us we could get more if we needed to, and she went through some dosage type things with us, a little bit of training. So,
cool.
Yep.
Hopefully we don't need it.
that is
I
what's
guess
up.
I did have a question. Russell, is the E-rate, is that an annual thing? Or is it multi-year?
Well, the contracts are sometimes multi-year. But that contract, some of the contracts are up and we renew. You have to renew every year.
Okay, that's what
But you don't have to renew contracts.
I couldn't remember. Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else on programs?
And we're 70-30. Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That means 70% go for board members, 70% of the funding comes from the FCC to pay for that internet connection.
Mhm. Yep. All right. Any questions on the superintendent report? Moving on.
No, might want to share anything.
It goes out about every week, and this is very similar to what I sent out. So, yeah, if you have any questions, glad to answer them.
It looked the same as the email.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right, so moving on to discussion items. Let's talk about the walk around. Anybody have questions, comments? Let's talk about it.
When do you expect the state inspector's boss to be here and crawl into the building?
He did all our buildings in December. I reached out in January. And it's been kind of hidden because I think Ron's back there a little bit, but I think keep pestering him. Hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, we'll get it worked out.
Okay, thanks.
In relationship to the priority needs and our budget planning, when would we want that information by?
So obviously, we don't have any of our answers from their legislators yet. Generally, the 1st of April, roughly, yeah, is when we should be getting that. What we're looking at doing is pulling this together for all of our facilities, obviously. And we have most of that completed, but there's a lot of other items as well. So we're looking at trying to make some priorities as we go into the cabin, when we're at Cavendish next month and we do our work session, we'll have a lot more information on that. So dollar wise, it's going to be very difficult to have probably from the state at that point, but we might, never know. So that's our plan, and then attack it from there.
But we could have a priority for
Mhm.
expenditures.
Yes.
And then cherry pick
Yep.
as best we can there.
Yep.
What about grants for siding and windows?
Yeah.
I heard a couple people mention it. Does anybody know of any out there? Is there something we could get the community to help us go dig into on that? Because no matter what the safety person says, we all see the windows and
Sure.
the siding.
I'm working with Stud and OEO Energy.
Okay,
And we're working on a couple of different grants, and it's lighting grants and insulation, which windows being a single pane, they'll consider those two. So
okay.
Will Avista allocate resources to this school? We're in Clearwater Power territory? Or
probably.
because we are a customer?
Yes, but the
bigger
OEO
picture?
solution parts, they're partnered with it. So I found out about the program through Avista for our lighting in our, because all of our other schools are Avista.
Right.
Since this one is not, I've still found out about their partner that they do this grant with. And I'm working with this guy named Matt through OEO. So he's not part of Avista.
Okay.
Could the insulation be part of that as well as an overall energy efficiency improvement?
Yep, they have a formula where they can per square foot they can rate our windows, what their R value is, and they'll give us a percentage on that.
Yeah, it's up to like $4 a square foot, I believe is what they do.
USDA had a program, and in the Farm Bill, it was limited to for-profit businesses only. And this is with my old hat on, it's a few years old, but where the Farm Bill was just included in the funding package, I wonder whether it would be worth reaching out to USDA and seeing whether it includes now the old language that would be public institutions. That's a 80-20 match, a 75-25 match. And you can apply all those Avista offset credits towards the match. I'll take that on. I will ask, because I know who to call.
Awesome. Thank you.
And it might be, if you look, since we're looking big picture, it might be a really good fit. If we can still apply. It's called a Rural Energy Resistance Program. REAP. And then I know that the Clearwater Power Cooperative used to have a program. It was called Red Leg. It was a rural development energy loan program. But I'll take that assignment on, Madam Chair, and and see what we might be able to find out and communicate directly with you guys.
I guess kind of what you were talking about, you got a great community here. Maybe if there's any of that you guys can dig into too. If you find something that applies, please get it over to us. Thank you.
Clearwater Power's got some programs.
Yeah, I'd hit them up too.
We haven't been as willing or open about their programs. Clearwater Power is because of the difference on the cooperative versus that shareholders piece. But yeah, ask, and I guess the what's his name, the general manager, he's retiring. And you might have seen that in your rural light. So I'm curious if Bob Pierce is going to take the route next, and that might be helpful.
I'm looking at that.
Thank you.
Dave Hagan, that's the person.
Yep.
So any other thoughts? So that would be windows. It could incorporate the insulation piece.
Yep.
So those two could be potentially tied together. The heating units. We didn't really talk about them other than it being past knowledge, and it's very warm in here.
It'd be a mini split system, probably a rooftop unit. What I got quoted from our local guy would be a single rooftop unit per classroom with 2 heads. There'd be a cold weather unit, so they have a heat pan under them, so they operate into the negative temperatures where most mini splits quit operating at about freezing point, or they're at least not as effective. So we would go mini split, so that'd get rid of our heater, our diesel heater, and our window AC units.
And are those the same units that we're using throughout the district? So we have for buying power on supply, parts and repair and institutional knowledge?
Yep, it's a Dakin brand. It's what our local carrier has, and he does all of our service work for us also, so Alpine Heating.
Darren?
Yep. Okay.
That's who I got my quote from, so. I like to stick local where, if we have a unit go down, they have a guy out here in a couple hours and the classroom's cooled again.
So right now, as it looks, just looking at this, the biggest priority is going to be the electricity because of the situation with that.
Well, and if we can go forward with the mini split system, we're
We
gonna
have to do it
we're gonna
all.
need power up on the rooftop
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So as we decide what we want to do, as we get green lights on projects like this, I'll dig in more, get actual bids from more contractors. So I have more numbers to work with, because we're only running a 200 amp for the whole district right now, which is what pretty much every house has in it.
Right.
So if we were to put in 5 rooftop units, we would probably need to upsize our power and stuff like that. But once there's a lot of digging, so I want to make sure we're all on the same page before I I don't want to burn a bunch of bridges and ask for 1 million quotes and then say,
Right.
sorry, we're not
We're
doing
not
it.
gonna
And
do
then
it,
on the
yeah.
next project, they don't want to give you.
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm getting at too, it looks like some of these things are gonna have to dovetail if we do them. They're gonna have to dovetail.
Yeah,
It-
like
it's
if we
just,
plan on doing siding.
you gotta do windows. If we
first.
if we're gonna do heat,
If we're doing heating, we
we're
gotta
gonna
do
have to do
electrical.
electrical, yeah. So, and I hate, where's the plumbing work in here? That was one area we didn't,
It's. For the most part, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's luckily we are we have a crawl space. So for the most part, it's accessible. Our bathrooms are all in one area, our kitchen's in one area. Everything runs into crawl space and out from there. So if we did have to do upgrades on it, it would be reasonable.
fairly easy to do, okay.
Because it's a public facility, does it require our architectural or engineering
On everything.
on everything? Okay. So, I haven't been to Cavendish since the windows, so I'm excited to go up there and see that. It's a different building that has similarities, so curious to see.
Yeah, I've been up there, made that whole building and talking to the teacher up there. She says it's night and day different, just the temperature every day when you come in. So do we know what the mini splits would save us compared to the big diesel unit over time? Or is there a good way to figure that out?
It would be a huge savings.
I just know with the elementary school, the amount of savings we were getting that we should have done that a lot sooner, knowing what the cost
Through winter,
was.
I know we were putting about 500 gallons of diesel in.
Wow.
A month?
I believe so.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I jump to that? Or what?
Uh,
Or am I, okay, so I keep the heat at 60. I go up to almost 70 during the day, so we're not like having a heat vest in here when it's cold, except for like now you can feel how warm it gets and the heat's completely off. And then when I first came out here, if you don't keep the tank full, if it gets to half, the whole thing shuts down. So Atkinson knows they have to come up and keep it filled to the top because otherwise the whole system shuts down. That happened the first year I was out here, which is either 8 or 9 years ago. We had like 5 days where it kept going out and that was the problem.
Because the pitch on the fuel line's bad.
Yeah.
Is the,
But it seems to be.
It's also a good way to keep your tank full. Yeah, I played that game with them.
I'd be really curious to see what we are spending versus what the cost of that project would be over, say, a 5 year.
did we do an analysis of the upgrade of the elementary school and do a per square foot
We-
kind of comparison?
Yeah, we did. And that's where my mind's going, is because it was like, wow, we should have put mini splits in way before.
That's saving a lot.
It saved us a lot of money. Exactly. It was a big chunk up front, but it's saving us every month.
That might be valuable for us, helping us.
Yeah,
be
so,
efficient.
so just kind of in reference, it was about 30,000 a month is what we were saving on those.
On the elementary
Just
school.
for the
Wow.
elementary school itself.
And you said 500 gallons of diesel?
But that was
I
all
believe so.
electrical
At
too.
$4 a
That,
gallon.
that
Jeez.
boiler was all electrical. Yeah, so that,
Not-
well, we just compared electrical
Yep.
costs.
Right.
So it was there, but not here.
You bet.
Correct. Yep.
Well, I think we kind of have a starting point. Yeah. I think we have a starting point, so moving forward. I mean, we'll keep on looking at it. Like I say, we're not at the point of making any final decisions or any knee-jerk reactions to anything at all. So that's not our intention at all tonight, so. We're just looking and figuring out what needs to be done and where the money needs to come from and all that, so.
Just hope that all this support that you see in this.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge.
You can use us.
Yeah.
Let us know.
No, absolutely. And we really, really appreciate you folks. I mean,
Absolutely.
that says a lot. It says a lot.
Yeah, but next time,
But come to the next one. It's in Cavendish, see the new windows.
Yeah,
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 or join us online.
Yeah.
Or email the superintendent and us.
Yeah.
We all have emails.
Are they published anywhere?
Yeah, online.
Yep. And we're all getting recorded and it's out there. You can rewatch it.
yeah. Yeah, but this is just in the infancy right now, it's just in the pre-planning kind of stuff, so nothing's carved in stone and we're not there. Yet, but
Excuse me, you'll have a meeting then prior to getting your money from the legislature, then moving it forward and what projects you're gonna do and not do it, right? You're not just gonna do it.
What?
Well, after you get your funds, you know,
Mhm.
get that in hand in April, like you said, and then what projects you can get,
So-
do and not do.
We're currently in the process of creating a strategic plan, and that will be part of our next meeting. And we have, this is part of that. So when we go through, then we'll prioritize. So, yeah.
Make sure we follow it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, we do.
I drive to all of them every day, drop kids off and put bike right out here. And then you had the city maintenance guy in years past, and the park looked good, the library looked good, and you drive by the school, the grass is dead. The kids with the greenhouse project, we grow the plants, we teach them how about growing in their yard is dirt. It makes us feel like you know, we really care for each other. At least it makes me feel that way. It's not speak for anybody else. That speaks for me too.
Be a good community service project too, but, yeah. So,
We do because community that are big for themselves.
Yeah.
We mow the grass and water it. But I don't think OES is a community service project, their lawn and their landscaping.
I hit message heard loud and clear. I get it. So. All right, and we do have budget hearings too. In reference to the budget, we do have budget hearings before we approve it too. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on. We got other things to talk about, the policy updates a little bit. We kind of,
I think we've
I
covered that,
think we
right?
covered that pretty
Yep.
good. Does anybody have anything else on that? Okay, next is about the personnel and the FY 25.
Yeah, so a little background on this. We've been running pretty rich on FTEs, and by FTEs, I mean full-time employees, and I'm looking in particular certified and classified both. We generally run about 5 personnel over what the state allots us. Our allotment is, based on our average daily attendance. So, in our support units. So that number has been about 5 over since I've been here. So we've tried to cut that back down just a little bit to try to get things back under control. So I've asked the principals, met with them several times about possibilities and to kind of roadmap for us to see where we can do this through attrition. We don't want to cut positions. We want to, as people are retiring, we want to assess and see if we can come up with some alternative areas. So looking at that, at OES, I know she's got a couple of places she was looking at from retirements to not replace, but with the elementary or with the kindergarten, something we need to reassess, obviously. And then at Orofino High School, there's several things that are going on. We've got a math teacher that has retired. We have an AD who was half-time, who is leaving us. Our vice principal position is not going to be filled next year. That person will be going into the classroom, which is currently in the classroom. So the ask on a couple of these, and then of course, Timberline, we have a math teacher who is who is full-time, retiring. We're looking at replacing with half-time. So the delta on that basically is 4. What we're looking at, and that's where it stands right now. So that totals somewhere around, and you got to keep this in mind that different salaries are different expenses. So I'll back up just a little bit. The state gives us an average. So we have ADA, which is our average daily attendance across the district. That generates support units, which generates FTEs. Those FTEs are based on the people where they're placed. So if you have somebody who's a first-year teacher, obviously is not getting paid as much as a 12-year teacher or on down the line. What the state does is we have to turn all those in, and they project we're based off the year prior, I guess I should say. So then they do an average of those wages. So when you're looking at, you may have 3 teachers that are first-year teachers versus 10 teachers that are higher paid teachers or more experienced. Those higher experienced teachers are worth more money in the eyes of the state. They do an average of that, and that's what all of our teachers get. So we do an average of all of what we had last year, and then that is what we get for each FTE. Now that FTE obviously varies. So if you've got a teacher that is the first-year teacher, the state pretty much pays for that a little, and actually pays over that. The teachers above that average are the opposite of that. It costs the district, so it has to offset. what they look at is the total number of FTEs, and it's based on, again, your support units and the number of your students that you have. Our enrollment has declined over the years. We're actually up 11 from a year ago in March. So that's good. That's promising. The state's always talking about going to student-based or enrollment-based pay versus average daily attendance. That's why we put, and that's not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons we put such an emphasis on attendance is it equals dollars to fix windows and do other things, pay teachers, whatever it might be. So we want to keep our eye on that ball, but overall, if the state goes ahead and goes to enrollment, which we all know if we have, if we're prepared for 500 students or 1,000 students, we have to have people there for those 1,000 students, even if 750 of them show up that day. That's just the way you have to operate. So you have to kind of keep that in mind when you're actually going through the budgeting process. So what we're looking at doing is anybody that is over, and especially on certified, if anybody that is over the allotted amount is an additional expense, if that makes sense. It's just out of our pocket, out of the levy, whatever you want to say, it gets made up from our general fund. So we look at trying to keep those under control where it's in balance. Now, the state their formula doesn't always work for what we do with our schools the way they are. So we have to really figure out how we're going to balance that out and make ends meet. So with that said, the total of that from those teachers that are exiting this year is about 545,000. That's salaries and benefits. If we look at replacing some of those teachers, obviously we can. One of the things that we looked at doing was obviously the kindergarten we were talking about. And then the other change we were looking at making was the Orofino Junior Senior High School, going from a part-time AD to a full-time AD. And the reason that was brought on was Ms. Kaczynski had asked that. She's basically giving up her vice principal, knowing that there's a lot of obligations with, athletics and scheduling and events and all that stuff. And she feels competent that she can handle the discipline side and the academic side herself. So I'm willing to indulge that. It's a additional expense of basically a beginning teacher, about somewhere around 24,000 is what it ends up being. The other places that when I met with our leadership was our custodial staff at some of our buildings, and Roy was involved with this as well. So we're looking at custodial staff where there's a 0.49 will be eliminating Orofino Junior Senior High School 0.87, Timberline at 1.0, and then our central office, we had our district secretary position and accounts payable that retired, and we will not be replacing that as well. So kind of taking a hit across the board to kind of level things out. Yes, you have a question?
So column C is what is going out. And
So-
column G is what we anticipate filling
And where are you looking?
on the spreadsheet that you linked in.
The
your
lower
report.
part or the upper
Yes,
part?
that's correct.
Okay.
And the column F is the amount we're spending currently,
Yes.
and the new amount would be, well, we don't quite know that.
No, we don't know because
But we know it's gonna be a lot less than that, because those
Yeah.
are all those teachers retiring are 20,
Correct.
30-year
Correct.
teachers.
And you have to keep that in mind. The benefit thing is a big piece of our calculation as well.
Yep.
So we pay 100% of our employee and then we pay 80% of family. There's a big difference between paying the employee and the family.
Yeah.
So that can vary depending on, who you end up with and what their benefit choice is. So
So
that's,
Does the,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, does the Orofino school, junior, senior high school, don't we have a counselor position coming on or something like
So
that? Is that,
we have filled that position for next year currently. Yes,
okay, so that's not included here?
correct.
Okay,
Yes. It's something we did not have this year. It was open, but we do have it
Right.
filled for next year.
Right. I knew that, but I didn't.
Yes.
see it. So that's
Yes.
not considered a vacancy with
Correct.
AD and VP and then
Correct.
Bill. It's separate.
Yes.
So in a perfect world, we potentially would hire one teacher at OES based
Mhm.
on kindergarten numbers.
Yep.
We'll get the AD job opened back up because he just stepped down.
Yep.
And then a half math teacher up at Timberland.
Yes.
Okay.
So the AD position, the only difference is going from half-time to full-time. And those are the major changes. And then, of course, less of the custodial and secretary.
What's the benefit of having a full-time AD versus a half-time AD?
That's a really good question. Ms. Beck. we've had a lot of discussions about
Yeah,
that.
I
And
just am curious of what that would look like.
I have a spreadsheet for this.
yeah,
Really, it's just the magnitude of the sports we have at our school and the supervision duties that comes with. We're talking even just in the spring season, 5 sports alone, 4 sports a week. Some of them at the same softball, baseball happening at the same time. Me as one person, there's no way for me to be at every event.
Right.
And if you're going to run an athletic program with fidelity, you want those athletic directors at practices. You want them evaluating coaches. You want them to really understand what's happening. And as Dr. Garrett mentioned, I'm very comfortable running the academic, curricular, discipline side of my building. Whereas I know that if I'm also running the athletics in the evening, that's going to impact the quality of work that I bring to the table. So Ron has been fabulous. He has shown us what the potential of a full-time AD could really be like, because to be fair, if you really clocked his hours, well, he's doing 3/4 of it right now, and running his business here. So just seeing that perception and the energy level that that's brought and how it's changed our athletic program for the better this year, I think that you put somebody in that position in the full-time capacity, you're only going to see some of the goals of the board get accomplished, that fidelity with grades and the management of the schedule, so it's not infringing on the academic time. That can be managed much better by somebody whose full capabilities and sole purpose is to run athletics. Yeah.
Can we certify them as a bus driver as well?
I mean,
So they can
yeah,
drive?
that would be
put it
really,
in on the lineup of the job description. Yeah, must drive bus. Yeah.
There certainly wouldn't be.
when will,
Other duties as assigned.
yeah, when's that job? Well, Ron's just on this one to step down, so then we'll open it back up to,
so really what we're looking for is getting a nod from you guys.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be an official vote or anything, but get a nod of like, let's go ahead and move forward with this. So that's really why it was here tonight, to kind of see the justification.
Okay.
And if I agree with Becca, if you ask her a question, she's going to come with a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It's real nice people.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, we,
From the elementary or Orofino Elementary, you're comfortable with the one and being able to balance? Okay, cool.
They had to make a lot of hard decisions. We had some really hard discussions about that, and it's everybody wants as much as they possibly can. But what I challenge them to do annually is whenever we have those attrition pieces, let's look and see, is there a place we can adjust, because it's different every year and everybody's certification is just a little bit different. So you never know who you're going to get and what they're going to be able to do. So
what's our class sizes potentially with the changes? Gonna go from to two?
It'll be, 5th and 6th grade will be, well, 6th grade will be right around 26 or
Okay.
27 apiece.
Yep.
5th grade's looking at it right about 24, and I'm trying to keep K3 at 20.
Yep.
Ish.
Okay,
Kindergarten, a little less.
great.
Yep.
Thank you.
And you're cool with that? That's good numbers.
I mean, I would love to have them smaller.
You're like, yeah, of course, but
You asked.
yeah, that's right.
always.
They're
but
gonna make do with that.
Yeah. It's not gonna be like a hair on fire situation to have that size. Be okay? Sure.
Smoldering.
Yeah.
Kidding. We've seen an increase in the needs of our students over the last couple of years. That does concern me, but we're also working with our peripheral staff and our special ed department to make some organizational changes to help meet those needs the best we can. So yeah, trying to be fiscally responsible and, meet our students' needs the best we can with the resources that we have. So.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and keep in mind, last year we ended up hiring 2 additional special ed teachers as well.
Yep.
We heard that need, so that put us up even farther. So we're kind of trading out a little bit as our population tends to change. We're
Yeah.
seeing more special education students. So
Well, we're kind of trading the AD for the VP because
Yeah.
we were doing VP AD all together.
Right. Yeah.
Now we're not really gaining
Right.
AD because Becca's took on all the VP
Right.
role. So
right.
So the note on the classified below. Didn't miss that. One-to-one para, 2 1-to-1 paras at OES and 1 at Timberline.
Oh, yeah.
Are we adding, are we holding, or reducing?
So those are,
That's just staffing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay. Working spreadsheet. Love it.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else on that one? All right, let's move on to the board training, April 10th. and 11th, right? Well, 10th in Grangeville and 11th in
Yeah, so we kind of have a unique opportunity to, for you guys to, and myself, and even our leadership to attend. There's some training from ISBA in Grangeville on the 10th that evening. Phil Gore is their new, and I think, did you meet him? I think he did
Yes,
with,
yes.
when we were down at the ISBA conference. Does a really good job, really nice job, very knowledgeable. Really understands the role of the board, role of superintendent, role of leadership, and does a great job of that. So he's meeting down there at Grangeville with, it's a community meeting. So they're meeting to do some training, and they've had some, the challenges they faced and trying to help bridge that gap a little bit between the community and the board. So I think it's some good training, and he's offered to let us set in as observers, participants, whatever we want to do. And then he's coming to Orofino that night to stay, and then we're going to do, I've talked him into doing some early morning training on the 11th. So that'll be great. And all you guys, I believe, Brian, I think you'll be out, but I think you have some personal reasons for that, maybe.
Oh, I'm having surgery because of Cheryl.
Yeah. Oh, there's why. So we'll have that, and that will be held at, we're going to be at the high school at Orofino for their space there, and it's going to be at 6 a.m. So we'll go from 6 to, I did, and we since changed that because of the spacing.
Ran out
So
of
I'll get
space.
that out
Good.
to you. Yeah. And I'll post that so you guys will be together. There will be no action items, obviously, but
Just
Let's
be a-
just,
yeah.
just a gathering.
Yep,
So
we have
everybody knows.
quorum.
6 to 9 a.m. at the.
Yeah, so I think he's going to do 6 to 8 and leadership. I've asked all of them to be there as well at 6,
Awesome.
and they're going to do 6 to 8, and then they're going to probably peel off and go to their jobs.
Yeah.
And then that last hour will just be you guys. This is kind of what we have planned. So
Great.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good piece for all of us to kind of get some refreshers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be there bright and early, 6 o'clock in the morning. Will there be coffee?
Will the door be open?
Will the door be
Can you schedule that?
Most definitely have coffee.
Lots of coffee. Yeah, copious amounts of coffee.
Coffee.
All right,
Okay.
so moving
we-
on.
Down.
All right, can I get a motion for executive?
Make a motion that per Idaho Code 74-206-1 A and B, we move into executive session.
You want us, Robin?
We have a second.
Or-
Do we need a second?
I'll second that.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, can we get a roll call?
Trustee Earps,
Yes.
trustee Saint Germain,
Okay.
Yes.
trustee Craig,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
trustee Kepke. Yes.
All right.
Are you still hearing that one?
I was falling asleep.
You're all over that. You're all over that.
Oh, quit it. I know, sorry.
All right, we're back from executive. We have no action items from executive. So now let's move on to our action items. First one is the calendar with the February 27th, 2024 closure and the 2-hour delay. And then
We're just
Oh,
moving
the
it to
last-
1 o'clock. or-
yeah, the last day dismissal, moving the time frame to 1 o'clock and
Yeah,
stuff.
so that was a change in the calendar.
Right.
It was at 12:30, I believe, what it was.
Yeah,
But for us to get our 4 hours, we wanted to be clear on that. I think it actually said 1 o'clock in one calendar and 12:30 in another. So
Yeah.
just so we're clear and reiterate it.
don't push it. We don't want a bunch of people at the next meeting.
I think one is plenty far.
Yeah, I kind of thought, when he said 1 o'clock, I was like, woo.
Yeah, and I think it was like 12:37, 12. It's 20 minutes. It's,
Until Friday.
Yeah,
No, I make a motion that we approve the calendar adjustment to dismissal at 1 PM on June 6th.
oh,
And to accept the emergency closure February
Nice.
27th.
and the
I'll
2-hour
second that.
delay.
oh yeah, and the 2-hour delay.
Which was that 27th, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You get that, Carmen?
Did we get all that?
Discussion?
Yeah, yeah. We didn't get a second.
Yeah, we did.
I second it.
Oh, you seconded?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that either. Jeez. Okay, any discussion? Jeez.
We've
Thank-
got it.
Thank God, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, the February 1st reading of the policies. Can I get a motion?
Well, we don't have any action.
No.
Yeah, there was nothing.
No.
Yeah, that's
Need a
true.
Motion, other than it would be nice to have one linked so we can read it.
Okay, all right. So there is no action on that one. Okay.
Are we?
Oh, do
Wait,
you want?
sure,
oh,
sure.
Wait.
4100?
No.
I didn't think so.
So we don't have any that we need
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all first read. Okay.
Discussion on that topic?
Huh?
Are we to there?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. What's our plan? Until we're losing our rock star.
Well, I just found out about as recent as you did,
Okay.
so
So
we don't
this-
have quite a plan yet.
Fire bomber.
So we'll try to find someone to.
Yeah.
Help lead that.
And that, if I recall, that was a sort of an experiential opportunity when she came on. So we didn't have anybody do that before.
I was manning it,
You do
basically.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what-
So I can go back to
So
that.
you'll be willing to train your replacement to do this correctly?
And start with the links that work to see the actual.
That's
edited
funny, actually.
documents.
That's a good one.
Or would we have anybody else in the district that would be interested?
I don't know.
Don't
I
know.
can put the word out and find out for
Cool.
sure.
It was just very, very nice having you lead us through that.
It
Yeah.
must not have been financially worth. it, or
Policies are
even-
painful, but they were less painful with you leading us through it.
Yeah, I agree. Fine, Rebecca.
And that's it. I'll shut up.
Oh, she knows I love her. So, all right. Moving on, new hires and separations.
Russell, you got help.
Make a motion that we accept the new hires and separations as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Do we
Yeah,
have to,
Russell gets help.
Hopefully.
Well,
still a lot of stuff.
we've been here before.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They still gotta show up and go through everything
Drug test and
and all that.
some people don't.
Did you need a nod on the AD? Did we do that?
We
Yeah.
Well,
don't,
it's
we
part
don't.
of this, right?
Well, I
Well,
think,
it's
I think
not.
what we
It's
just,
not, he was
Not
just
not
saying to
officially on
just
here.
give him the nod.
we will get that posted.
So we'll just,
Oh.
we'll actually,
Just
yeah.
like-
we'll-
You'll
yeah,
actually
we'll
post
tell
it.
that.
Yep.
Full.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. All right. Input for next one. Now we have a work session
Mhm.
And we're in cabinet.
in
It's
Cavendish.
gonna be really hard for me to be there in person, Madam Chair. I
Yeah.
am trying to convince someone, but I am leaving that next morning on the 5 AM flight
Ooh.
out of,
Oof.
to get
Well,
a
do
meeting.
what you
So,
can, if you can, you can, if you can't, you can't.
yeah, I'm,
I
Kind of
won't
is
be
what it
there
is.
via Zoom
You're zooming.
unless my surgery
Oh, that's right.
heal up is better than they expect.
is there any chance of bumping it a week? Or would you be able to participate in a week?
Yeah, I need a week to,
Could we bump?
When do we have it right now?
The 15th?
15th.
Could we bump?
So are
it
you
to-
able to be there, Jesse, on the
I
15th?
am,
You are?
and I think I could do the next one too. Hold on, let me look.
The 20,
You're talking about the
work
regular
session
meeting or
or
just the work session?
The work session for the strategic.
oh,
I mean, I would
So-
like to do both, but
So leave the regular meeting the same as what you're suggesting?
because the law day is the next week.
Oh, yeah, you guys are
That's
gone
right.
for that.
The law, that's, yeah.
That's why we had to leave it on the
well,
15th. You just call
I can participate.
via Zoom?
I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as we have a quorum. And
I'll be there for sure on the 15th.
okay.
Okay.
So is there any,
I'll be there via Zoom. I
So
mean,
we're good.
we'll have-
one way or another?
Yeah,
you'll be there,
yeah.
so, okay.
And I won't take any heavy medications.
Maybe. you
No,
should.
I won't, so it won't be that.
Oh,
hard.
okay.
Oh,
It's just
oh.
won't-
Yeah, I'll just be in a bad.
So just-
Oh, this,
You were starting a new trend here.
all right, this is deteriorating.
Okay, so
quickly.
Cavendish work session at
Five.
5.
and then meeting at 6:30.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So with that, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. We're adjourned.
Yeah.
You notice I never asked for discussion on that.
That's just.
Thank you all.
Thanks for the help with the
Hey, we.
technology.
He was asking.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you on the
Got to
11th.
get a hold of